What's up, guys? I'm here at the shop. I didn't bring my camera with me yesterday. I actually did come up here and didn't really plan on doing much of anything. And then did, of course, and forgot the damn camera. My rim clamp, I was like, obviously, it's cheap and I didn't pay very much money for it. It's never really worked great because it's always like either acted clogged or just leaked the hell out of air. And I actually played with it just a little bit and it was very simple, really. I just unhooked the main line that comes out and it's like, it's hard to see. This whole tank here fills up with air and basically acts as like a air cannon with its tip and will like blow a tire onto a bead, but it doesn't really work very well. And I hooked my own airline from Harbor Freight straight into the main T. And yeah, it's like seemingly worked fine ever since. See it? I can get it to completely stop leaking. Now you barely hear it hissing. Right now it's leaking quite a good bit, but never like it was. I let it all the way in. You hear it leak a little bit. As long as I lock it in place, it like hardly leaks air at all. But it was leaking like way worse. Like this valve in here was just blowing, and basically it was leaking off pressure faster than the damn compressor could build it. And the bead breaker could barely break a bead, and you could barely get the clamp to hold a tire still because it couldn't hold enough air pressure, and you'd keep having to just turn it off and wait and try again. But I had no problems mounting my trailer tire yesterday. Yeah, so this is like working perfect. There's nothing wrong with any of it now. Bead breaker. That's all working great, which is awesome, because I thought I was going to have to like rebuild this thing and do a bunch of work to it. I lubed that up a little bit. That seems to have worked. But yeah, it works good enough. I got the trailer tire off, and here it is over here. This is the aftermath of what my trailer did to itself. So and it's still got, it's hard to see on camera, there are nipples. There are still nipples on this tire, on the top of it. Right here, you can see them. There's one sticking up. Anyways, the tire, like, literally is so new that it has, you know, the nipples. And that, if you guys know anybody that can do a good enough patch job, maybe we can fix this. Have a nice spare. I think we can glue it back in. I don't know. It'd be real nice if the trailer company would at least reimburse me for the tire that I paid for. That's not my fault at all. Or all the time I'm spending welding. But that's happening as well. I shouldn't be doing that. I should be working on this. This is the Y8 for the Civic over there. And I've still got a short list of parts for it. I've literally got 3 Y8 manifolds sitting here. Some of them are automatic, some of them are standard. They have the ICV in different places, and some of them have like a thicker, looks like water cooled almost, base plate. Or mounting flange plate, whatever. But I've just been digging around trying to figure out exactly which setup I need to run. I think I'm actually gonna need a B7 distributor. I'm gonna need the distributor off a non-VTEC because the Z6 doesn't bolt up. You actually need a B7, a D15 distributor. So I have to get a distributor. I have to get wiring. As far as the junkyard, I need to like go to the junkyard and yank the whole wiring harness and the distributor off of just a shitty B7 like any Honda OBD1, and yeah, I don't even have the engine harness for this car currently or a distributor. I don't have an OBD1 alternator either, or I don't know, there's a few other things, clutch and flywheel, mounts, axles, but I don't know, it seems like a lot, but really getting the whole motor together and assembled, knowing it's all right and done and timed, I mean, it's like $500 worth of parts, and me just really getting after it and figuring out getting all the wiring right. For now, I'm going to run it on a P28. It's going to run as if it was a Z6. It's just going to run OBD1 VTEC, which is a little off on the timing scale, but I'd rather just run it virgin factory P28 than me trying to... I've got a chip DCU, but I don't know what the hell I'm doing. So I'm not going to try to tune it to run the Y8, because it will run the Y8 with the regular P28. So I'm not going to try to do any tuning to my chip DCU until I get the turbo kit on it, because I'm not going to blow it up in A. That would be stupid. I'm at least going to turbo it and then blow it up. I mean, hell. So, but hopefully I will be turboing that soon. I don't know which I'll buy first. I need to buy a turbo kit for this and get that car together, but also really want to lift right here in this spot where this car's sitting, and there's a real good chance I'm probably going to put a lift right here next. It's just one of those things that's going to pay for itself, just having it, being able to use it, just being able to pick a car up and swap brakes out or work on suspension or doing transmission work or anything under the car. It is night and day. The time and labor it takes to do basically any mechanic work having a lift. So I mean, I'll be a lot more up for helping other people with stuff and doing swap outs and stuff like that if I have a lift. You know, like right now to do a brake job for somebody, I've got to like put their car on jack stands. It's kind of a joke. So I can't even do, you know, basic automotive maintenance for people really without a two-post lift. You know, I mean, I need to be able to pick the car up off the ground. So that will be coming soon. Yeah, I've got a Ninja 636 that is, well, I guess what you would call stunted out. Had it sitting around for like 3 years now. It actually runs. It didn't have front brakes when I got it. The guy had blown the bleeder, knocked the bleeder off, torn it up. I've since replaced it. It does have brakes, but it's not legal, and it needs like 3 title transfers to get it legal. So I'm just going to cut the frame in half. And about right here, just chop the frame off and send that little back piece off to a company, and they send it back with the whole front steel. And yeah, you can get a steel frame for about $850. Comes out to like $1,100 if you get it powder coated after you send your core back and forth. But for about $1,100, I can get a tubed steel frame that comes with a new title, and that's just the best alternative. Everybody that stunts these wants those frames anyway. They don't break. These are known to just snap off right here, basically. Like the cage will just break the frame. This is all surprisingly not broke yet, but yeah. That was the whole thing with this bike. Was I was waiting around until I could afford to order either I think Badass Industries makes one, and then Stunner X, I think, is the other company that makes one, but I've been waiting around to order a whole new frame for it. So basically the day I bought it, I knew there was a $1,000 investment I wanted to make before I ever even drove it or tried to put it back together. And I originally knew I wanted to buy a frame for a bike, which also means taking everything off the bike. But I mean, it would give me a chance to go all the way through it, put stainless hardware everywhere I want, new gaskets, paint anything I want, but it's gonna be $1,000 thrown at it at the start, and that's assuming I don't run into any issues along the way or decide to do a head gasket or whatever. I mean, I can see red RTV from here, so it's not so great. It's been spray painted in RTV and treated like dog shit because it's a stunt bike. But yeah, hopefully sometime soon I'll actually get a half steel frame and build that. That'll be a great build. That's something I've wanted to do forever. I had a CBR 600 and I just played on it too much and realized it was not meant for that. The pivot point was higher, the bike was more fragile. You're definitely just laying it over, I was going to break it faster. So, and these are tanks. This is the bike for freestyle riding. I mean, it's hard to argue that anything's better than this, other than when they finally reinvented this 10 years later. The 636 Kawasaki's are just, they're trash of street bikes. If you really talk about road racing, I would never take one road racing, but when it comes to freestyle riding, they have a low pivot point and a lot of low end torque, and they are just tanks. They're great stunt bikes, but I would love to have like an S1000RR, of course, or like a Gixxer 750, you know, 750 on a 600 frame, because I'm smaller. That would be really cool. A Gixxer 750 would probably be my favorite, even more than 1000, but this wasn't intended to be a fast road bike. I mean, it is a parking lot toy, and it always will be. It's set up that way. It's the sprocket's so damn big. I think it tops out at like, I don't know, 100 miles an hour ish. But I mean, you can stand it up in like all of the gears. But yeah, it causes it to have a very low top speed. It's definitely for playing around in parking lots, but it'll ride wheelies with ease. Of course, has a rear handbrake and a Graves tank, all kind of other fancy parts on it. And that's why I bought it. I bought it for all the parts. I knew what most everything was exactly and where it had come from, and understood the time that went into this build. The person that originally built it spent a lot of money and ordered all the right stuff from all the right people, and all very reputable people that are still support them to this day, like this A-Town Customs frame, and there's a Sick Industries sub cage under the back. I mean, just these are parts from companies that people love. Of course, you know, the Brembo Masters, and everybody's got a righteous stunt clutch, like the shorty clutch lever. Like, it's dope. It had all the dope parts, all the dopeness to it. So I mean, it's got the round bar in the back with a piece of titanium on it that's, you know, throws sparks, a spark plate. So, yeah, all I've got to do is go through it. All I've got to do is get a legal frame and do like a maintenance restoration. You know, there's no build. The build's there. It's the only thing I think I've ever bought that the build was already there, basically. You know, all the aftermarket stuff was already there. I've never bought someone else's build. And I think it's definitely probably is financially a better idea to do that. I've never come across them. I've never been that type of minded person. I've always wanted to buy junk because I had no money. And like these cars, I got all these cars for literally like less than $1,000 a piece. I paid more for this bike than I did for all three of these cars. Like, all three of these cars, their original prices that I paid to get handed the clean titles to them was less than this bike, but it was because all the aftermarket's already there. Like, I might put a fresh engine on it, or, you know, like I said, getting it legal, but I don't need the big sprocket. I don't need the Graves tank. You know, everything is already set, and I was mind blown that it's still not even leaking. Like, the fork seals aren't leaking somehow. This has got upgraded 05, 06 inverted front forks. This isn't the front end that came on this bike, and the fork seals still don't leak to this day. And I've had it sitting around inside and outside for like a year now. So, I mean, somebody took good care of it. Somebody built it right at some point in time. Probably this person that I can't find, this Cash Stunts guy. He's probably in prison in Houston. So yeah, shout out to Cash Stunts. If you're not in prison in Houston, you did a good job building this bike. If you are, you know, when you get out, holler at me. I got your bike. It's cool as fuck. There's like nothing in this car. Nothing gonna go in this car, really. I'm gonna put seats back in. It's got a Grant wheel. That's kind of cool. It's already got like an aftermarket hub, and that is like an actual Grant brand wheel, which is pretty dope. I have a pair of shitty ass seats up there that I wanted to put in this car with like a set of shitty harnesses and a harness bar, but as ricer and, you know, dope as it would be, I don't know if I want to sacrifice the safety that much. It's already like a tin can, and to be a tin can with eBay seats and really shitty harnesses, might die, and I don't want to die just to look cool. So I'm thinking I might need to get like some FIA certified seats or some factory upgraded seats, like S2000 seats, and then do at least like a 4-point cage in it, and then do harnesses. So the harnesses are actually mounted to an actual 4-point cage that's going to save me in a rollover, and the seats are at least DOT approved or FIA approved. Those seats are Chinese approved. They are probably not even, I'm basically positive they're not any kind of road legal or certified for anything. So I don't really want to use them, but they look cool. But yeah, looking cool and dying sucks. Or also the infamous, they recline, so you know, they just like pop and snap and kill you or whatever. I think reclining seats with harnesses is supposed to be like another big no-no. You want to be in a fixed seat when you're wearing a harness, because you want everything fixed completely, for everything to work in the fashion that it's made to work.